Today is the third day since the crucifixion of Jesus. At the crease of dawn, the women head to the tomb to anoint the body of their beloved Jesus. A life-changing miracle occurs. Hear anew the story of the resurrection. Early on the first day of the week, while it was still dark, Mary Magdalene came to the tomb and saw that the stone had been removed from the tomb. So she ran and went to Simon Peter and the other disciple, the one whom Jesus loved, and said to them, "They have taken the Lord out of the tomb, and we do not know where they have laid him." Then Peter and the other disciple set out and went towards the tomb. The two men were running together, but the other disciple outran Peter and reached the tomb first, but did not go in. He bent down to look in and saw the linen wrappings lying there. Then Simon Peter came, following him, and went into the tomb. He saw the linen wrappings lying there, and the cloth that had been on Jesus' head, not lying with the linen wrappings, but rolled up in a place by itself. Then the other disciple, who reached the tomb first, also went in, and he saw and believed. For as they did not understand the scripture, that he must rise from the dead. Then the disciples returned to their homes. But Mary stood weeping outside the tomb. As she wept, she bent over to look into the tomb and saw two angels in white, sitting where the body of Jesus had been lying, one at the head and the other at the feet. They said to her, "Woman, why are you weeping?" She said to them, "They have taken away my Lord, and I do not know where they have laid him." When she had said this, she turned round and saw Jesus standing there, but she did not know it was Jesus. Jesus said to her, "Woman, why are you weeping? For whom are you looking?" Supposing him to be the gardener, she said to him, "Sir, if you have carried him away, tell me where you have laid him, and I will take him away." Jesus said to her, "Mary." She turned and said to him in Hebrew, "Rabboni," which means teacher. Jesus said to her, "Do not hold on to me, because I have not yet ascended to the Father. But go to my brothers and say to them, I am ascending to my Father and your Father, to my God and to your God." Mary Magdalene went and announced to the disciples, "I have seen the Lord." And she told them that he had said these things to her. Thanks be to God for these words of life.
Will you pray with me? May the words of my mouth fertilize your planted seeds, O God. Amen. Early on the first day of the week, when it was still dark, death looms in the air. Death is all around and hanging like a pall over the people of Jesus, of Mary, Salome, and the disciples, and the other Mary. The death of Jesus. I'm going to be walking through John 21 through 18. So if you want to pop open your phones and check your Instagram while I'm doing this, you can at least pretend that you're looking at the text. Or you can look at the Pew Bible, or you can actually look at the text on your phone and follow along. It was still dark. And Mary of Magdala was coming to the tomb to anoint the body of her beloved. And she walked in the dark so that she could be there early. And in her mind, she was worried. She was worried because no one had yet rolled the stone away. How was she going to do that and get into the tomb to get to the body? Why the stone? Why was there a stone there? Mostly to keep people from getting in and messing with the bodies, or any of the accoutrement of death that they happened to have put there, but also the reason that they didn't want anything coming out of the tomb, if you know what I mean. They didn't have all of these ghost detectors. They just knew that if somebody was dead, they wanted them where the dead are and not out among us like zombies. Let's not pretend that we don't still traffic in this weirdness. It is there for us, inside of us. Mary of Magdala. Now, this is before we long-bearded, difficult men of the church who wanted to lower the estate of women in the church, my apologies, decided that she was a prostitute and a harlot and someone who was below the behavior of a good person in the church. Now, raise your hand if you're above the behavior of the good people in the church. This is all of us. She is us, broken and fabled and difficult and mysterious and not a prostitute. She was a dear, dear friend of Jesus and Mary and Martha and Lazarus and the crew. So she walks up to the tomb and she saw that the stone had been rolled away. The force between life and death had been removed, and she panics, and she runs, she flees, she scurries to tell the disciples, and she runs up to Peter and says, it's open. And Peter and the other disciple whom Jesus loved. Did you catch that in the text? The other disciple whom Jesus loved. Now, we have wrestled with this other disciple problem for as long as I've been studying this text, and people have been studying it forever and ever, going back. And the best thinking that I'm able to get to is that this is us. This is a sophisticated author who we miscall John, saying, come with me into this story. This is you. This is me. This is us in this story. Do you get it? We are the other disciple running along faster than Peter. And if you run with me, you got to be pretty slow to be slower than me. But running with Peter to get to the tomb to see what in the world has happened here. How is it that the stone has been rolled away? Mary goes to them and says, they have taken the Lord out of the tomb, and we do not know where they have laid him. Then Peter and the other disciple set out and went toward the tomb. The two were running together, but the other disciple outran Peter and reached the tomb first, and he bent down to look in and saw the linen wrappings lying there. But he did not go in. This is us. We want to look at death, but we don't want to get near. We're curious about it, but we don't want to actually go in because it seems like something weird is going on there, and we are afraid of death. But friends, death lives all around us. Death lives all around us. My feed constantly reminds me I'm going to die. And in order to put that off, I need to take more medicines, do more exercise, eat the right food, all of these pieces so that I can avoid death. But here's the key. Nobody's getting out alive. Let's look at dead on. Let's look right at what the disciples are looking at. They come to the tomb and they look inside. And Peter saw the linen wrappings lying there, and the cloth that had been on Jesus' head, not lying with the linen wrappings, but rolled up in a place by itself. Now, how would you feel about that? Ah! This is a terrifying moment. There's supposed to be a body there, and there isn't one. Where we thought we were going to see death, where we thought we were going to doom scroll, it's not there. Death is someplace else. Death has been moved from where we expected it to be to someplace else. And zooming past Peter is we, the other disciple, scurrying into the tomb and looking around. Indeed, Jesus is not there in the borrowed tomb of Joseph of Arimathea. Then the other disciple who reached the tomb first also went in, and he saw and he believed. What did he believe? Doesn't say. He saw and he believed. He believed that the body wasn't there. He believed Mary. He believed Peter. Or did he believe that Jesus, who told him that he was going to be resurrected, was resurrected? And then they did what all of us do. The disciples returned to their homes. Wow, this is weird. I'm going home. See ya. Isn't that what we would do? This encounter between life and death is so enormous, so mysterious, so wildly weird that we would simply walk away because we don't want to wrestle with the really giant things, substances, ideas in life. But that's who we are called to be. If we are that other disciple, we are the ones who are wrestling with life and with death and with the strength of God. But who remained? Mary. Who remained? Thank you. Oh, this is, you come on, join in, I'm going. Mary remains, and she stands there weeping because the mystery is so odd, so profound, so outside of her experience. She is dumbfounded, shocked, weeping. Weeping because she thought that the body was going to be there. And this is her beloved Jesus, and they have taken them from me, she says. As she wept, she bent and looked into the tomb, and there something else changed, right? There were how many? 2 angels in the tomb. 2 angels, 2 messengers of God. That's what an angel is. And not only that, the angels talked. Ruh-roh. And they said, "Woman, why are you weeping?" And she said to them, "They have taken away my Lord, and I do not know where they have lain him." And when she had said this, she turned around and saw Jesus standing there, right in front of her. And she didn't recognize him. She was so caught in the moments of death that she could not see life standing right in front of her. Have you ever been there? Have you ever been there? Your marriage of 27 years breaks up, and you stand weeping. And before you is compassion and comfort and a new way to go in life, and you can't see that life because you are so caught up in the death of your relationship. Are you so addicted to a substance of death that when someone comes and offers you help and you turn around to see that person, you only see the death you're living in now? Are you so caught up in the pain of politics and life that when there is beauty in front of you, you fail to see it now? Anybody ever been a teenager? Anybody listen to the radio or your favorite songs when you were a teenager? Anybody have somebody that you loved when you were a teenager? And then they dumped you. What in the world was that? And so you turn on your songs and you only hear the ones of your broken heart. Yeah? You don't want to listen to the beautiful, wonderful songs. Fill me up, buttercup. All of the great songs of life and joy. You can't even hear them. You are so caught in the death of your relationship. And that's where Mary is. She is stuck right there in the moment of death. Sir, they have carried him away. Tell me where you have lain him, and I will take him away. She says that to Jesus the very life, but she only thinks that he is the gardener. And Jesus says to her, Mary. Mary. I love the way it was read earlier. Mary, like, hey, it's me. Mary. And then she sees the relationship of life, that she is no longer caught in death. She is caught in life. There is life before her. It is whole and practical and beautiful and mysterious and wonderful and terrifying all at once. There it is in front of her. Mary, and she turned to him and in Hebrew said, Rabboni, which means teacher. She recognizes that relationship. And Jesus said to her, do not hold on to me, because I have not yet ascended to the Father, but go to my brothers and say to them, I am ascending to the Father and your Father, my God and your God. And Mary of Magdala went and announced to the disciples. You got to catch that. Mary of Magdala went and announced to the disciples, I have seen the Lord. And she told them that he had said these things to her. Who first preached the gospel? Mary, and she is male or female? Women. Were it not for women, we would not know the gospel. They were the first preachers of the gospel, the best preachers of the gospel, the most open preachers of the gospel. It is a wonder. You full of hope these days? I hope so. I hope those of you that are nodding are in a different place than I am. For it is a troublesome time. I don't even know how to talk to my friends at this point. Where are they in the spectrum of the weirdness in which we live? I turn on the evening news and I wonder what disaster will face me now. My news feed may not be the same as your news feed. What in the world is going on? And it's hard to have hope when there is so much death around us. Ukraine and Gaza, in our own streets and neighborhoods. People being shot, people being filled with vicious drugs, people murdering one another just because they disagree. Spousal violence. Friends, death is all around us. We are like Mary walking in the dark. I was reading Frank Bruni the other day, B-R-U-N-I, Frank Bruni. If you don't read Frank Bruni, you need to. His language is magnificent. If you read him for no other reason than that. But Frank Bruni wrote, hope is not an option. Hope is an obligation. Hope is not an option. Hope is an obligation. We are required. We must have hope in our lives. It's the only thing that will get us out of bed, only thing that will drive us forward, only thing that will teach us love, only thing that will move us ahead. Hope is in that moment. Hope is an obligation. You know, we've walked away from the mystery of Easter. We want to explain it, right? We're scientific people. Well, it's, bunnies and eggs, and it's always awkward when a parent gets asked, how does the Easter bunny deliver eggs? What's the connection there? And you can Google it, and there's all kinds of explanations. But why was the tomb empty? Why was Jesus resurrected is the mystery that gives us life and hope. That there is no power stronger than God, that the power of life, the force of life wins. The power of life is greater than any before. The power of life is greater than any before. 27-year-old friend of mine came out to his mom. Gay. He loved another man. He'd known it for a long time, but was suspicious that his parents didn't know it, and he was afraid that his father would not approve. So he talked to his mom, and his mom smiled at him and said, "Okay. Are you in a relationship?" He says, "Yeah." And then he said to his mom, "How do you feel about that?" She said, "Well, I don't know. I've never been the mom of a gay son before. I just don't know. But I know that I love you." She was afraid that the powers of death, he was afraid that the powers of death, we are afraid that the powers of death will destroy our relationships. And we find out that not so much life is stronger than death. And then the son asked the mother, how do you think Dad's going to feel about it? She said, "I don't know." "Does he do something for a living?" He said, "Yeah, he owns a classic car remodeling shop." She said, "Oh, he'll love him because they can talk about cars all the time." You see, we put too much freight in the goofiness of our relationships, in the difficulties of our relationships. I don't know. I've never been resurrected before. How does it feel? How should Easter feel? I don't know. I've never been resurrected before. Oh, I bet you have. My friend Barbara, a raging alcoholic, terrible alcoholic, lost her jobs, lost all of her life savings, drank it all away, lost all of her relationships, drank those all away, and then she got a new life of sobriety and hope. And in that new life, she found so much joy, so much possibility, so much greatness in her life. We were talking about it one day, and I said, "How was it going from who you were to who you are?" Because right now, she's one of the most generous and kind and caring and open people I've ever met. "How did it feel," I said, "to go from that dark place of death to the place of life?" And she said it was terrifying because she knew who she was, but not who she can be. But once she got sober and saw that life was so much bigger and better, she was resurrected and found newness and hope in life. So let me ask you, what's killing you right now? What is death in your life? Where are your relationships so small that they are literally killing you? Is your job so much of your life that it's causing the death of your relationships? Are you chasing the dollar so fast that you don't see the opportunity for life? Is Amazon delivering so much stuff to your door that you're dying under the boxes? You can set yourself free of those and find new life, because life is full and there is a life force that wins and wins all the time. Have you been resurrected? I was talking with a Baptist earlier today, and I said, "Christ is risen." And he said, "You know, the first time somebody said that to me, I was raised a Baptist, I didn't know what to say." And the answer is, good. But friends, I'm not banging on the Baptists. I'm banging on us. Unless we know that Christ is risen, we don't know that we have the power of life that is ours, not only today, but every day. Not only in this moment, but in every moment. Not only in our brokenness, but in our wholeness. Not only in our moments of despair, but in our moments of hope. The resurrection is ours to live. We are the other disciple. Life force wins, always. So if you're broken by poverty, know that there is a life force that can give you life. If you are dying in the midst of your own anxiety, know that there is life force that can bring you to life. If you are misshapen in your self-relationship, know that there is a life force beyond what you are suffering that can bring you to life. If you are caught in the hell of the online miasma, know that there is a life force better than your clickbait that can drive you to life. Reach out. Seek the wholeness of life. Look at the death and then turn around and hear Jesus call you to your name and be led to fullness of life. There is a life force. It is called resurrection. There is a life force that wins. Thanks be to God.